Are you interested in reaching the WFYI audience while supporting the programming you love? Become a sponsor today. Learn more at WFYI.org/sponsor.
This is WFYI News Now. It's November 1st, and I'm Darian Benson. Coming up, many Indianapolis neighbors are facing an affordability crisis.
This issue is made worse by out-of-state investors purchasing homes, contributing to displacement and gentrification of our neighborhoods. This challenge impacts not only our low-income neighbors, but also young professionals, seniors on fixed incomes, and countless others.
A new housing project on the near northside hopes to help. But first, these headlines. Open enrollment for 2024 coverage on the health insurance marketplace begins today, November 1st. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Abigail Ruman reports this year's open enrollment period is especially important for people who lost coverage after pandemic-era policies that protected people's health insurance expired last spring.
The marketplace allows individuals and families who aren't covered to compare and apply for insurance plans from private insurers. Susan Jo Thomas is the executive director of Covering Kids and Families of Indiana. She says the marketplace open enrollment period is important for people affected by the Medicaid unwinding.
This open enrollment is perfectly timed to be able to absorb folks who have not been able to get re-enrolled in Medicaid for some categorical reason.
Thomas says there are insurance navigators who can help people find coverage that works best for them. People who enroll on or before December 15th can get coverage that begins on January 1st. Coverage for those who enroll between December 16th and January 16th will start on February 1st. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Abigail Ruman.
A new report shows that e-cigarette use in Indiana grew in recent years. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Violet Comber-Weiland reports there has been a 72% increase in e-cigarette use between 2016 and 2021.
Claire Fidian-Green is the president and CEO of the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation, which released the vaping study. She says the report shows vaping has harmful effects on Hoosiers.
E-cigarette vapor is often considered harmless, but it's not. It has 2.7 times more airborne nicotine in homes where there's vaping than those without tobacco. And it also may contain harmful substances like carcinogens and metals.
She adds that although youth vaping has declined, nearly 9% of Indiana youth say they have used e-cigarettes within the past month. Fidian-Green says taxes on tobacco products and making e-cigarettes harder to access can help discourage youth from using tobacco. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Violet Comber-Weiland.
Indiana Secretary of State Diego Morales has launched a new text hotline where voters can get information and report issues about elections. To use the new tool, Hoosiers text IN to 45995. They will then receive a link that takes them to a website where they can request information, ask a question, report a problem, or file a complaint. Morales' office says election staff will then follow up with people directly. The text tool is free to use, though text and data rates from your carrier may apply. In a statement, Morales says the text tool is part of his pledge to make the office more efficient, putting resources at Hoosiers' fingertips. Election day is November 7th. Early voting is ongoing. Some Indiana lawmakers raised concerns about the proposed Medicaid reimbursement rate for a common behavioral treatment for people with autism. They say it could put access at risk. The director of Indiana Medicaid formally presented the new rate at a recent state budget committee meeting. Providers say applied behavioral analysis therapy builds communication skills and addresses behavioral problems. The proposed Medicaid reimbursement rate for ABA therapy has been opposed by providers and parents since the initial announcement in August. The current proposed rate from the Family and Social Services Administration is about $68 per hour. Senator Fatty Codora says the amount could make it difficult for providers to continue care in the state.
I have a document in front of me from one of the providers saying if we operate below the $76, we're going to go into a crisis mode.
The new reimbursement rate is set to go into effect on January 1st, 2024. And finally, a new housing project will offer 33 townhomes for lower-income residents on Indianapolis's near north side. WFYI's Jill Sheridan reports the new development bears the name of a longtime senior resident.
Arnold Place is named after 101-year-old Albert Arnold, who has lived in the Reagan Park neighborhood for nearly 70 years. The City of Indianapolis and Indianapolis Neighborhood Housing Partnership worked together to invest $12 million in the project using federal relief funding, tax credits, and support from grants. City County Council Vice President Zach Adamson says many Indianapolis neighborhoods are facing an affordability crisis.
This issue is made worse by out-of-state investors purchasing homes, contributing to displacement and gentrification of our neighborhoods. This challenge impacts not only our low-income neighbors, but also young professionals, seniors on fixed incomes, and countless others.
Residents making 80% of the area median income will be able to apply for the townhomes, which are now under construction. Pricing for the 2 or 3 bedroom homes will be announced next year. I'm Jill Sheridan, WFYI News.
That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Today's episode was produced by the following people who live in your community: Aubriana Heron, Kendall Antron, and me, Darian Benson. Our news director is Sarah Neal Estes. If you liked today's episode, remember to subscribe and share. And find us wherever you get your podcasts to hear more stories about your community.
Are you interested in reaching the WFYI audience while supporting the programming you love? Become a sponsor today. Learn more at WFYI.org/sponsor.